Sadguru. Respected elders, brothers and sisters gathered here, and all those watching us live from around the world. Hearty Sai Ram, and welcome you all on this day again. My name is Amrit Kalal. I am pursuing my Masters in Economics in Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. As we know, the 18 chapters of the Gita reflect the Mahavakya, Tat Tvam Asi. The last 6 chapters explain to us the word Asi, that which is. This morning, we explored the first part of chapter 13, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, wherein the Lord introduces us to the concepts of Kshetra, field, and Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. There is a beautiful analogy in the Kathopanishad which helps us to understand these concepts better. Atmanam rathinam vidhi, shariram rathamevatu, buddhim tu sarathim vidhi, manah pragrahamevacha. Indriyani hayanahu, vishayansteshu gocharan, atmendriya manoyuktam, bhokte tyahur manishinaha. This shloka explains that the chariot is the body, the horses are the 5 senses, the sense objects are the path, the reins are the mind, the intellect is the charioteer, the soul is the lord of the chariot. Thus, when we are constantly aware that we are the masters of this chariot, we will be free from bondage. Just like an actor in a play, although he dons various attires and plays many roles, the minute the curtain is down and the costumes is off, he is back to his original self, which he is aware of even while acting. Similarly, when we may be a son, teacher, student, or whatever other roles we play in our life, as Sadguru always reminds us of the first part of the mantra that he has given us, Aham Brahma, we must constantly be aware that we are always divine as we are. Now, we shall chant the important shlokas from the 13th chapter.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Trayodashodhyayaha Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogaha. Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnamevacha Etadveditumicchami Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramityabhidhiyate Etadyo Vetti Tam Prahuhu Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. Tatshetram yaccha yadrukcha yadvikari yatascha yat sacha yo yat prabhavascha tatsamasena me shrunu. Rishibhir bahudha gitam chandobhir vividhaih prithak Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitaihi Mahabhutanyahankaro Buddhiravyaktamevacha Indriyani Dashaikancha Panchachendriya Gocharaha Ichhadvesha sukham dukkham Sanghataschetana dhritihi एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदाहृतम् अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्ममृत्युजराव्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यञ्च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते सर्वतः पाणिपादन्तत् सर्वतोक्षिशिरोमुखम् सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमावृत्य तिष्ठति सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तृ च बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरञ्चरमेव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदविज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत् अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तमिव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रसिष्णुप्रभविष्णु च ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव विध्यनादि उभावपि विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान् कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते। पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमं क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभा समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्यत्स्व विनश्यन्तं यः पश्यति स पश्यति समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समवस्थितमीश्वरं न हि नस्त्यात्मनात्मानं ततो याति पराङ्गतिम् प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति यदा भूतपृथग्भावम् एकस्थमनुपश्यति तत एव च विस्तारं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा अनादित्वान्निर्गुणत्वात् परमात्मायमव्ययः शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात् आकाशन्नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तथात्मानोपलिप्यते यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरञ्ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम् ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगो नाम त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः। श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Now may we call upon our revered Chancellor, Sri B. N. Narasimhamurthy, to speak to all of us.
Dearest Swami, brothers and sisters, and very dear students, boys and girls. Bhagavad Gita is basically a book of synthesis. You call it a science of synthesis or an art of synthesis. First and foremost, how to synthesize our material life with spiritual life. Spiritual life is not divorced from material life. How to bring in spirituality every moment of our material life is the subject of the Bhagavad Gita. No better place to teach it than the battleground. There was no philosophy ever taught on a battleground. We have sermon on the mount, or sermon by the side of a sea, sermon in a forest, but never on the battleground. Therefore, it signifies, it applies to the battlefield of life. The second is, Bhagavad Gita is a synthesis of karma, bhakti, and jnana. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And generally we divide Bhagavad Gita into three parts. The first 6 chapters talking about karma, generally. And the second 6 chapters up to 12th talking about bhakti. And last 6 chapters about jnana. But in fact, in all the chapters, you find all the 3. This is what the truth is. Coming to the 13th chapter, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. It is a science of analysis again. As I said, it's a science of synthesis. Now it is also science of analysis. How do you analyze the universe? How do you see the role of the Kshetrajna in the Kshetra? What is Kshetra and what is Kshetrajna? To give a very simple analogy for our students, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was very fond of a song composed by Ramaprasad, a very great devotee who came earlier to him. Sakal tumari icha mai, Hamu yantra, tumu yantri. Hamu ghar, tumu gharni, he would say. What does it mean? Everything goes on according to your will, Mother. I am the machine and you are the operator. I am the home or the house and you are there dwelling in the house. So that is an analogy. If Kshetra is the house, Kshetrajna is the indweller, one who dwells in the house. Therefore, this 13th chapter, you find that kind of analysis. In the universe, there are both Kshetra and Kshetrajna. And in every human being, or any being for that matter, there is Kshetra and Kshetrajna. And here we find detailed analysis of what is Kshetra, the field in the universe, and what is and who is the knower of the field. Kshetra, field. Kshetrajna, knower of the field. It is almost same as Prakriti and Purusha, or matter and consciousness. See, matter, as was explained by Sadguru in one of his discourses during the last week, this kshetra, this field, matter is nothing but energy, but unconscious energy. But the consciousness in the unconscious energy is the kshetrajna. The same thing the Upanishads also say, Nityaha Anityanam. One who is eternal in the ephemeral, one who is permanent in the temporary. And Chetanaha Chetananam. And we see both moving beings or moving things and those tavara are who are static. But among the beings which are activated, there the consciousness in the conscious beings is the kshetrajna. Ekaha bahunam means the one in the many. Avibhaktaha vibhakteshu, that's what we saw in one of the shlokas. Therefore, we find here a detailed analysis of what is Prakriti, what constitutes Prakriti in the universe, and who is the knower. And finally, Lord Krishna concludes, I am both Kshetra and Kshetrajna. First he says, I am Kshetrajna. Then he says, I am the Kshetra and also the Kshetrajna. Because when the universe was created, the instrumental cause was God. The material cause, the material out of which he made the universe is himself, because there was no other material. When a potter makes a pot, there is matter, that is clay is the material. And who did it? Potter did it. But here in creating the universe, the matter or the clay is nothing but God himself, because there was only God before this creation came into existence. Therefore, he created the universe out of himself. Therefore, I am both Kshetra and Kshetrajna. That is how he concludes in this chapter. With these words, I pray to Sadguru to throw more light on this subject of Kshetra and Kshetrajna and also answer our questions. Thank you very much. Sara.
As we have already learned so far that it is only Sanatana Dharma which equates man with God. That means also women with God, also trees, mountains, and everything, chara, achara, everything is equates with God. And sometimes those who have never heard of this thing, they find it very astonishing and sometimes even very stupid in a way. They think, how can you think this mountain is God and this river is God and the trees are God and the animals are God and humans are God and my husband is also God? That's impossible. But then it is so. Sanatana Dharma would say, whatever is, at the end he is also God, you are also God, and everybody is God. Sanatana Dharma boldly declares, Shunvantu Vishwe Amrutasya Putra. You are the children of immortal liberty. Listen up. This truth that you are God. And our Upanishads declare it in 4 Mahavakyas. There are many Mahavakyas, but these 4 Mahavakyas are very popular. And you all know about it. Tattvamasi, as just now he mentioned, comes from Chandogya Upanishad, from the Samaveda. You are that. What are you? You are that. That means God, because very difficult to describe God. So they have used the word that. Tattvam asi. So also we have Aham Brahmasmi coming from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Say, I am God. It means everybody is God. I am God does not mean I alone am God. Everybody who has this feeling of I is God, that I feeling itself is God. Asmi feeling itself is God. Then we also have Prajnanam Brahma. This consciousness is God. This comes from Maitreya Upanishad, from the Rig Veda. I am God. That is earlier. But it says that what in me is God, that consciousness, that I feel that I exist, that consciousness itself is the presence of God. We all feel, right, whenever we start any sentence, what do you say? I am. After that, I am whatever, boy, girl, teacher, student, happy, sad, hungry, sleepy, interested, bored, whatever you are. It starts with I am, isn't it? So I am is common to all of us. After that, all the other adjectives come or whatever the situation comes. I am is the first, and that is what prajnana is. I am feeling is prajnana. Nobody is here who can say, I don't feel I am. You exist, so you are. And that existence, in this awareness of that existence is conscious, prajnanam it's called, which is also Brahma. Brahma is the synonym for God or Supreme Godhead, that's called Brahma. And then Ayamatma Brahma comes from Mandukya Upanishad, which says this Atman, this self is Brahman only. In all these, one thing that is common is that they are always telling that this individual is nothing other than Brahman. But what in this individual is Brahman is also been described. The prajnana in this individual is the actual Brahman. Prajnana is the consciousness, the ability to know anything. The awareness is Brahman, that ability is Brahman, using which we experience everything. We experience our body, mind, emotions, relations. All these are experienced using this one ability, one power called I am. That I am feeling is the Brahman in all of us. That is how Sanathana Dharma puts it. So people who have come from other religious ideas or other philosophies, their understanding of God is what? There is one particular entity sitting somewhere up in the heaven, on a big throne surrounded by angels. And then that particular bearded man in a long gown, he has a stick in his hand, and whoever does something, he hammers him with that stick and says, behave yourself, like a teacher or like a disciplinarian, like a warden. So the idea of God has been created as somebody who is sitting somewhere up above, far, far, far away and unreachable. And the only thing he does is keeps checking on whether we are doing good or bad. And when we do good, he gives us some rewards. And when we do anything bad, then he punishes us. And this goes on. Accordingly, we are finally castigated to either hell or heaven or wherever we stay there forever, till we are fully punished or fully rewarded for all our deeds. But this idea of God also exists in Hinduism. It's not that it does not exist. Hell, heaven, punya, papa, all that exists. And different types of gods exist. Somebody lives in Brahmaloka or Vishnu Loka, Vaikuntha or Kailasha or something like that. So the idea also exists. But Sanatana Dharma is even beyond this. So this idea is Hinduism, of various names and forms and various rituals and other things. And that is a much recent idea. Whereas Upanishadic idea of the rishis is far, far older. That's even before all these things. In fact, if you go to the Vedas, you will not hear about these new gods, which are like the Rig Vedas and Rig Vedic deities which were there. They were mostly the forces of the nature. Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni. These are the devatas. Brahma, this Prajapati was there, of course, that is the creator. But the recent concept of other gods which have come, which are much later, they come from largely from Puranas only. And then some of them would have found their way into the Vedas also. But largely this came much later. So the idea of God in the very beginning was this very ability with which everything we experience. So are you experiencing happiness? Yes, I am. What in you is experience happiness? I am experience happiness, you'll say. That I am part of it is the God which is helping you experience happiness, which helps you define who you are. So that I am is the Brahma. So if you say I am Atma Brahma, in English also it sounds like I am Atma Brahma. So I am that Atma within, which is Brahma, which is nothing other than Brahma. And by now we know, Sri Adi Shankaracharya has made it explicitly clear. Shlokardena pravakshami yadoktam grantha kotibihi Brahma Satyam Jaganmithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So this Jivo Brahmaiva Napara is a Mahavakya. Whatever equates the Jiva with Brahman, Jiva Brahma Aikya Vakyam iti Mahavakyam. whatever equates the jiva, the individual, with the Brahma, Paramatma, God, that sentence is called Mahavakya. So that is how there are many Mahavakyas which appear. Wherever we hear that you are none other than God, that very Vakya is Mahavakya. So in Paravidya time we were talking about Mahavakyas, and I said Aham Brahma is one thing, Aham Brahmasmi, shorter form is Aham Brahma. Then they said this is not enough, because you will start thinking you alone are Brahman, you alone are God, everybody else is the lower creature. So we have to also complement with another side, another statement saying Sarvam Brahma, everything else also Brahman. Sarvam means including inanimate objects are Brahman. You can't harm, hurt or trouble anybody because God resides in all. That is the outcome of thinking like this. When you think you are God, you will behave accordingly. Because you are supposed to be expressing those godly qualities through your thought, word and action. And that is one part of it. The second part of it, everybody else and everything else also is God. When you think like that, then your behavior, your aptitude, your perspective, everything changes in life. You look at everything in the more sacred way. In only India you will see. I've seen some convocation, pictures of some Western universities. After the end of the convocation, they'll throw the books up and go. In India, is it allowed? You cannot throw the book. In fact, if you, by mistake, you are walking and you step on a piece of paper also, or a pen or a book, what do? Immediately do like that. Why do we do like that? Did the book get hurt? Got insulted? No, book has some, if a scientifically you see, does that book have any conscience that how could you kick me, how could you step on me? If it was your neighbor, he would have given you back. Poor thing, book cannot do anything about it. But yet we respect that. We immediately bend and touch. We say, no, that is Vidya Devata. Vidya Devi is there in that. Saraswati Mata resides in that. We say, and immediately we personify that book as a deity which gives us wisdom, and we touch. Similarly, even by mistake, your feet touches somebody else as you're walking. Immediately you go and, what are you doing? You're doing namaskara, no egolessness, namaha. Namaskara means without ego, you immediately go and apologize. Why? Because you believe there is something sacred about that person, the thing, or anybody. So idea of our Indian Sanatana Dharma is instinctively gone inside all of us. We all somehow know that we have to respect things around us. Why we respect, we do not know. We truly respect them because we believe God resides in them too. And therefore in India, everybody is permitted to worship anyone. If you see, we worship rivers. We all go and offer our oblations or, some prayers to the rivers, to the trees, the mountains. There are festivals around that. So we believe God exists in all. That is somehow there in our culture. We cannot express how do we believe in it. How can this mountain be God? How can this tree be God? How can the animal be God? We do not know how to explain it to the people. So Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga explains you how God exists in everything and everyone. So that you can answer. If somebody comes and says, what is this superstition? What is this you're worshipping, this and that and everything else? You have to tell, wait, I will teach you about Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Come here. Never again he will argue with you. So Kshetra, just now I said, it's basically, literally it means a field, a farm. Like think of a farmer who has a field. And he plows the field, he sows the seed, he grows the crop, he harvests it. So he knows the field, right? He knows what kind of soil, what kind of crop will grow, when it will grow, when to harvest. So everything about the field he knows. So likewise, there is a field and there is a knower of that field. Kshetra is the field, Kshetrajna. Nya is with jnana, with who knows about it. So that is one thing. So you will say, as per this chapter, we have to learn what is Kshetra in us and what is Kshetrajna in us. What is the distinction? What is the difference between the two? This is what Krishna is going to teach Arjuna. Arjuna asks Shri Krishna that what is 6 things he asks in this very stanza. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva, Kshetra Kshetrajnam Chaiva. Prakriti and Purusha. What are these two? Prakriti means nature. Purusha means the one who resides inside. Inside what? We'll figure it out. Second pair of things he asks is Kshetra, Kshetrajna. What is the field and who is the knower of this field? And third pair of things he asks about is Jnanam and Jneyam. Jnanam is the knowledge, Jneyam is what is to be known. What is this knowledge and what is to be known through this knowledge? These are the 6 things he asks for, and Sri Krishna throughout the chapter explains. But largely it revolves around Kshetra Kshetrajna, which is also kind of Jnanam Giyam, which is also Prakriti Purusha, which you will anyway learn over. So here Sri Krishna says that all the bodies, all of you individuals are Kshetras only. Anything that consists of these Panchabhautika Sharira, the body made of these 5 elements, and the Antakarana, the mind, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, all that, along with an ability called Avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest aspect of yours. That also is a part of your Kshetra only. So he talks about 24 things. You have heard that, right? Avyakta is the first, unmanifest. What is unmanifest? Before you were born, where were you? How were you? You were in unmanifest form. Then you got manifested as a jiva in a womb, in the womb of your mother, and then you were born, then you lived, and finally you died. After you died, what happened? Body disappeared. But did you disappear? So far we realized we have not disappeared, because we carry on with our journey, and then we are born again in another body, and then we continue our journey. So we keep changing body like we change clothes. That is what we have learned. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya. So that is the idea. So we know that there are times when we are not manifested in the body. That is the avyakta state. Unmanifest, like potential energy. It's not translated into kinetic energy. It has the potential. So what all it contains over there, it contains all your past memory, all your thoughts, all your likes and dislikes, preferences, all good, bad, ugly that you have done, all that is stored there in that avyakta form, like a seed form, which has all the details of what's going to come next. So all that you've done in the past and collected as the memory, as the experiences, as the likes and preferences, as the personality, all that is stuck there in your avyakta. So that is the first thing that Krishna says in the Kshetra. First is avyakta. We all were avyakta at some point of time. Right now we are vyakta. And some of them are getting into avyakta stage as they get into deep sleep, listening to these discourses. They are suddenly unmanifest. They are not aware they are existing. In fact, this avyakta happens to us every day, every night rather. Day, of course, in classrooms, but night otherwise in the bedroom. You go to sleep and then you get into deep sleep. And in the deep sleep, you are there but you are not there, because you are not aware that you are there. Are you aware when you are sleeping very deep? You are not aware. Why? Because your mind, your buddhi, everything has been switched off. It's gone into a state of unmanifestation. That is avyakta. This avyakta is a part of us which exists even while we are in the body. And we are not in the body also, we exist as avyakta. That is the first part. Second, he says Panchamahabhutas, this is Mahabhutas. This is called Tanmatras. These are not the physical bhutas like air, water, earth, sky and fire. There is a subtle aspect of that also, they say. That is the Panchamahabhutas which creates these 5 elements, and from there comes the body. Without these elements, this body cannot be made, right? We have heard about in Taittiriya Upanishad. Tasmat Dvaye, Tasmat Akashat Sambhuta. From that came the Akasha, the space. Akashat Vayu, from space came the air. Vayu Agnihi, from air came the fire. Agni Apaha, from fire came water, and from water came earth. How does it connect each other? That is your assignment. Please use your thinking. How space has become air, how air becomes fire, how fire is connected to water, how water is connected to earth. Try to find out for yourself. But all this is what makes us. We are 70% water, that's what they say. And then we have air, we have space in us, every atom has space, we all know by now. And then we have earth in us, because all that which we have eaten from the earth, that is what has made this body. All the food that we have taken. Likewise, all these elements are in us. But before the elements manifested, they were also in an unmanifest form. Whole creation was in unmanifest form at some point in time. Then it got manifested in various things. So all these energies were there. So they are there, 5 of them. Then they translated into gocharas. All the things that you see. Why do you do anything in this world? How do? You taste, smell, touch, feel, all these things. Hear and see. So all the objects that are a part of your vision, part of your food, part of your touch, part of your hearing, or part of your seeing, all these things are the Panchagocharas. They all are also made of the same Panchamahabhutas. They all converted into this. Then you have Pancha Karmendriyas and Pancha Jnanendriyas. Pancha Karmendriyas are what? Vak, Pani, Pada, Upasthu, Upayu. These are the things you have already studied. You know these 5 organs of mobility, that is walking, Padam, Pani, action, that is hands that you use for working. Then vak, speech is one faculty. Then excretory organs, and then reproductive organs. These are the karmendriyas through which we perform actions. But behind each of them are jnanendriyas, which also you know, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is the part of this. So you know all these things by now. You are very talented, you are very intelligent. So all these together, which is controlled by one mind. Manas. What is mind? Again, you know, mind is nothing but all the thoughts and emotions that we have collected over a period. But it also has the faculty called buddhi, which discriminates good or bad, and chitta, the memory bank, which keeps all the account of all that we have experienced. And we refer to chitta, then I use buddhi, then the mind tells the organs, go ahead and do this or don't do this. So all this mechanism is there. All that is us. This is all put together. Sri Krishna says 24 of them is Kshetra. Kshetra only. This is not divinity, he says. This is all modifications of the divinity, modified version of divinity. Everything started from divinity, but these are the modified versions. Like vapor is the same as water, is same as the ice. They're all modified versions of each other. Likewise, divinity modifies into an unmanifest form. From unmanifest form comes the ahankara, buddhi, mana, chitta, all that stuff. All the tanmatras, all the various elements in the subtle. Then the same elements in the gross. Then all the indriyas, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. Put together, these 24 things are the kshetra. Quite a lot, isn't it? So everything you can think of is kshetra. Then Sri Krishna also explains this kshetra also undergoes a lot of modification. The mind undergoes modification, body undergoes modification. Don't we? We were babies when we were born, and then we have become grown-ups now. Slowly we'll become also old, and then someday we will become again unmanifest. Avyaktadini bhutani, vyaktamadhyani bharata. Sri Krishna told us, in the beginning you were unmanifest, you manifest, again you become unmanifest. What is the big deal about it? Anyway, everybody is going to go through birth and death. In the beginning he tells in the second chapter, so let us fight the war, no problem. So here also he explains about the Avyakta. These 24 aspects you have to remember. I'll give you a lot of fill in the blanks, then you have to fill all these things. But this is all the manifest form of the same Brahman. But within all these things, by what we know about all these things, there is an ability, as you'll say, no, my buddhi is the reason why I know. But buddhi has already been categorized into the kshetra. No, my mind is the reason I know myself and all these things. No, mind also has been categorized into kshetra. So what is that in you which knows all these things, which knows your own buddhi, which knows your own mind, which knows your own ahankara, which knows all your indriyas, which knows all the panchamahabhutas, which even knows that you are avyakta when you are in deep sleep and became vyakta when you woke up. What is that which keeps tab, which keeps the knowledge of everything? That, he says, is kshetrajna. And you will find it slightly difficult because you will think my body is known to me by my mind. But he says, no, behind the mind also there is something which knows the mind. For example, if I ask you, how are you feeling now? You will say, I am feeling sad. Sadness is a part of the body, or the sadness is the part of the mind. Mind has emotions. Where is the sadness? So the mind. But who knows that the mind is sad? Mind does not know it is sad. Mind is already sad. Something in us knows that our mind is sad right now. That something is called kshetrajna, is what Krishna is saying. That's called as consciousness, awareness. This is the difference between the two, he says. The one who knows and the one which is known. And I have already told you earlier, but you can practice this again. Drigadrishya Viveka is by Vidyaranya Swami, is the simplest method to realize that these aspects are different. Rupam Drishyam, Lochanam Drit. Rupam Drishyam, all the things are seen. The objects which are there, they are seen. Who is the seer? Lochanam Drit. Eyes are the seer of all that we see. But when we close the eyes also, we can see things inside. So by physical eyes we see, that is one part of the seeing. But there is something that sees without our physical eyes also. When you close, you can see, you can imagine, you can even see me now in your own, inside your mind. So it says, when eyes become the seen, something is seeing these eyes, which is the mind, he says. Rupam drishyam lochanam drig, tad eva driktu manasam. When the eyes become the scene, see, I'm in my mind, can I see my eyes? Means, can I feel my eyes? I can feel my eyes, right? I have these eyes, and through these eyes I had seen just now whatever I saw. So there is one level inside. If you go, there is the mind that sees through the eyes, and eyes see the objects. Now he says, Drishyadhivrittasya sakshi. When mind becomes, and whatever you are thinking in the mind becomes the object, who is seeing the mind? Can you think now that my mind is right now thinking about Drigadrishya Viveka? Can you feel that? You'll say, I am thinking about Drigadrishya Viveka. Yes, but what in you is thinking about it? Your mind is thinking about it. In your mind, there are emotions happening, thoughts happening, various ideas are happening. Can you feel that you can actually observe your mind? Close your eyes for a moment and see what are the thoughts passing through your mind right now. And feel the difference between those thoughts and something in you which is seeing those thoughts. Something in which is perceiving those thoughts, that these thoughts are passing through my mind right now. Because mind's nature is only thoughts. It doesn't have anything else of its own. It has only thoughts and whatever ability to discriminate between the thoughts through buddhi and the memory of everything that you have stored, which is chitta. Beyond, and the identification that with your name form, that is all mind's nature, ahankara. So something in you knows that your mind is right now thinking like this. Many of you come and say, my mind is not at peace. You say like that, right? My mind is not at peace. What does it mean? That you know that you are different from your mind. My tumbler is clean. Your tumbler is different from you. This is my kerchief. Kerchief is different from you. This is my body. Body is different from you. This is my mind. So mind is different from you. So who are you? That is the final question. This is how our Upanishads teach us to go on inquiring and coming one level inside. So today also somebody asked me, Swami, when you say all these things, you should think like this. My body consciousness is very high. I think I am the body. When I fall sick, I cannot concentrate on all these Upanishads. I am sick. I feel the pain in the body. What do I do? How do I stay? I said, you have to ask, who in you is feeling the pain of the body? Body is feeling the pain. Body is going through whatever. But body is incapable of understanding. Something in you understands it. You will say, my mind is the one which understands my body is paining right now. Then you ask where the pain is. Is it really in the body or is it in the mind? Actually, through the mind only we are experiencing this body. When we sleep off, or suppose the same person is given a sleeping pill and their mind is switched off, where is the pain on the body? Body only is not there that time. You don't realize your body. Where is the pain of the body? That also disappears. Then mind is the reason why we are experiencing it. But I know my mind. My mind is a bad mind. It thinks of bad things or good things or happy things or sad things. I can clearly differentiate between the ability of myself to know my mind and the mind itself. So you have a body which is experienced through your mind. This mind itself is experienced through another ability which knows my mind is thinking right now. When will this discourse get over? This is too much, too overload. Spirituality overload this is. And then you are realizing that something in you is thinking about this. But that is different from you. That is your mind. So you can clearly, one by one step you go. So I told this person who said, when I'm sick, I don't know how to. I told, contemplate as to what in you is feeling this sickness. What in you is experiencing this sickness. Is it your body? Is it your mind or something behind it? Contemplate on that ability to experience everything. And suddenly you will see Drishya Vrittasya Sakshi Tad eva natu drishyate. That person which sees everything in you experience, there is no seer of it. So 3 layers, body, mind and consciousness. This consciousness sees the mind. Mind experiences all the emotions. And body experiences all the actions and reactions. But this consciousness is simply the witness. And I gave the example of electricity. The electricity passes through all the bulbs. All of these bulbs are lit by the same electricity. There are no different electricities in each bulb. Same electricity. But electricity is not the bulb, not the light. If bulb, you can think of bulb as the body with the filament and glass and everything else, all the sockets, and think of the ability of the bulb to produce light, right? When the light passes through the filament, some reaction happens and there is a way it produces light, right? Some emission happens. That is the ability of the mind. The ability to light up the bulb is the mind, let us say. But the electricity which lights up the bulb, that electricity is consciousness. In a way you can understand like this. Bulb, the light and the electricity. So electricity when it passes through it becomes light and bulb gets lit up. Similarly, electricity passes through the mic becomes sound. Electricity passes through the fan, becomes air or wind, breeze. So likewise, electricity is neither light, nor the wind, nor the sound. Is it any of them? It is not. But it can become any of these things when it associates with certain objects like the bulb or the fan or the mic. Electricity modifies itself into all these forms of sound, light and heat or whatever, cold. This idea is consciousness. The consciousness, when it enters through a sad mind, feels the sadness. When the same consciousness passes through a happy mind, feels the happiness. When the same consciousness passes through a wise mind, it gets illumined. When the same consciousness passes through a dull-headed or tamasic mind, it becomes lazy. So, the ability in us to be lazy or happy or sad or active, that is consciousness. But why it behaves differently in all of us or even within us at different times, it behaves differently because of the mind that filters it. So if electricity passes through this bulb, it will come out as yellow or white warm light. When it passes through a red bulb, let us say, it will become a red light. Or a green bulb will become green light. Did electricity become green, red or white? No. But it appears to become green, red or white. Likewise, this consciousness is not happy thing. Conscious is not a sad thing. Conscious is not a old or young thing. It is just what it is. It is like the electricity, neutral, absolutely neutral. But this interaction with the kshetra or prakriti or the whatever manifestation makes it appear different. But Krishna is trying to explain that pure consciousness is absolutely neutral. It doesn't get affected by any of the things what is happening in the kshetra. But why kshetra is experienced? Because of the kshetrajna only. If the kshetrajna means that consciousness is not there, we cannot experience our body like in deep sleep we cannot experience our body. But that is not wisdom, because in deep sleep we are ignorant. Even when I am awake, can I differentiate between my body and the consciousness, my mind and the consciousness? If I can do that, then I am a jnani. Because here I am aware of it, in deep sleep I am unaware of it. Both states are same. But then the problem is that is full of ignorance, this is full of wisdom. I am aware, as I am awake also, I can feel the difference between my body, my mind and this consciousness. And our scripture says, don't call yourself the body, because body comes and goes, it changes. God cannot come and go and change. By definition, God is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. It doesn't change. God does not change. God does not born, doesn't grow old. All that happens to the body, so body cannot be God. Next, mind. Is mind God? No, because mind also changes. Today is happy, tomorrow is sad, one day is excited, other is depressed. All kinds of changes happen in the mind. So mind cannot be God as well. So what in you is God then? When Shritiyas are saying, Vedas are saying you are God. What in you is God? Your body cannot be God because body changes. Mind cannot be God because mind also changes. So what is that which does not change? This ability does not change on us. Ability to know our body and mind is the same whether you are a man or a woman. That is what I call as I am. That feeling I am, I exist, that feeling itself is supreme divinity. Sounds too simple, isn't it? Seems like, is that all to divinity? Is that all to spirituality? Yes, that is all it is. Provided you experience it. Theoretically, yes, this is all it is. There is nothing beyond this in our Sanatana Dharma. That I am feeling is divinity, that prajnanam is divinity. You don't need to know more than that. But the whole problem is, am I experiencing it as different from my body and mind? No, it's all amalgamated. My consciousness is all jumbled up and mixed up with my body and mind, so much so that all I think is of body and mind only. I can't think beyond. So it means you are not able to segregate. This is called Nira Kshira Viveka. Again, that is another nyaya, another how you can segregate water and milk. Because this consciousness is all mixed up in your body and mind. Still, you should be able to see the difference between the consciousness and body and mind. That Viveka Shakti is what is required to differentiate the two and then study in this wisdom of self, which is consciousness. And consciousness is not affected by sad and happy. Somebody was sick. He said, I heard you were sick. He said, no, I'm fine. He said, no, but we heard you were sick. Oh, my body was sick, he said. I am not sick. I as the Atman is never sick. No vikaras can happen to Atman. So this is the idea of Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is that consciousness which does not change. Kshetra is the changing. Whatever is changing is Kshetra, you put it like that. Whatever is unchanging is Kshetrajna. So what is unchanging in you? You only sit and write down. Since your birth till now, how many things in you has changed? And what in you has not changed? Your body has changed, your school class status has changed, your many other things have changed, like your friends have changed, your knowledge has changed, your emotions have changed, your thinking has changed, so many things. Now you don't tell me, my father hasn't changed, my mother hasn't changed. No, keep out that. I'm only talking about you, about you. Don't go out and say, this building has not changed, that tree is the same, my warden has not changed. I'm suffering the same warden. No, in you I'm asking, in you what has changed? Everything you will feel, your body has changed, your mind has changed. Only thing in you is not changed is that ability to know this is your body and this is your mind. That ability has not changed. That ability is the same. That doesn't grow old or young or rich or poor. It doesn't associate with any of the things. This neutral ability in all of us to know our body and mind, that ability is the Atman, that is what is called consciousness, Prajnanam, that is what is Brahman. And the Mahavakya of this is Kshetragyam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Krishna is not only saying that all this is Kshetra, your bodies are Kshetras, but in all the Kshetras, there is only one Kshetrajna. Then you will say, what do you mean? The one that knows me, as in me means in the sense this body of mine and mind, is the same one who knows her as her body and mind. How can this happen? Because we are two separate individuals. Yes, we are. But the ability is one and the same. Like the electricity is one and the same. The electricity that flows through this bulb is the same as that flows through that bulb. And each of these bulbs is getting lit up because of the one electricity. Likewise, all our abilities to know ourselves is one and the same. It's one continuum. Though we look like broken, see, each of these bulbs look separate, right? How can you see all connected through one electricity? Behind that there is a wire which is connecting all of them. That is physical wire. In us all, there is one consciousness which connects everything. Prano. Many names it has been called by. But that is what connects. Chetana Shakti we call it. But it connects all of us. We are unaware. Therefore, they say our whole universe is connected. Now, scientists are also saying this. And I was mentioning about the recent Nobel Prize which was won by 3 scientists for a collective work on this idea that everything is connected. And this is very similar to what was quantum mechanics or what unified field theory of Einstein, who says everything is connected. So what happens here has an impact on something that is happening over there. And these people have proven, I do not remember the whole details, but you can go and check. These people, there is spin of the photons as there, or spin of any particle, in subatomic particle. So 2 of them are spinning together, and if you separate them and send one to the end of the universe, by checking its spin, you can know what is the spin of this, or checking this spin, you can know what is the spin of that. So connected they are. Means they spin in opposite directions, they are a pair. So likewise, the string theory has come up which says everything is connected. So what you think, do, act has an effect on others around you in some way. You will say, no, it is not true. How can what I do will affect somebody living far away in America? May not be directly, but indirectly it reaches everybody. That's why when we chant, I tell Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, chant with full heart. Because that prayer that you are releasing in this universe, that energy you are releasing, that will go and do things somewhere to somebody. Rudram we chant, these sounds, they have traveled through space and they definitely have an impact on the whole world, some way or the other. We may not quantify it, we may not be able to correctly, empirically prove this is the exact effect of what has happened over here. But there is an effect and science is coming over there. But our Upanishads and Rishis says we are all connected in that one sea of consciousness. We are all floating in that one sea of consciousness that connects every one of us. And we are not different that way. We all feel hunger, right? We all feel the same hunger, right? Or you feel different types of hungers. When you are hungry or she is hungry or he is hungry, we all feel the same feelings, right? You may be different things. You may be hungry for dosa. She may be hungry for pizzas. Somebody will be hungry for masala, vadas, whatever it is. But the hunger is one and the same in all. Is it not? When we sleep, we all sleep the same type of sleep, or we sleep different types of sleep. We all sleep the same type of sleep. Even dog sleeps the same type of sleep. When cow sleeps the same type of sleep. As humans, also king and paupers. When we feel sad, we all feel the same kind of sadness. Intensity may be different depending on the amount of sadness. But we feel the same thing when we are sad. That's why we can empathize with each other. I know you're sad. I know how it feels. I know you're hungry. I know how it feels. I know you're angry. I know how it feels. I know you're disappointed. I know how it feels. Because we have experienced all that thing. Why I know that it is the same for both of us? Because that consciousness in us has told us that, I have experienced sadness through her. I have also experienced sadness through him. I have experienced hunger through her. I have also experienced hunger through him. And that consciousness makes us understand that we all experience the same emotions. That is how we are connected. That is why Brahmamukate, Parabrahmamukate, when he sings, he says the same thing. We all have the same emotions. And we know we all have same emotions, whether you're Italian or American or French or Indian, doesn't matter. Your hunger is same. Your sleep is same. So we are so connected to each other. This is the idea of one consciousness. Kshetragyam cha api mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. This is a Mahavakya. I am the one in all. I am the knower of all that is known. How? Not as Sri Krishna, as the supreme consciousness, which is one and all for everybody, including the ant, including the cow, including the dog, including trees and birds and inanimate objects also, because consciousness is present within the atoms. We said there is space, but that's not an empty space. That is filled with a force, an energy. And what is the nature of that energy? We are saying that energy is conscious. It is aware. It has an intelligence of its own, because otherwise the whole universe will collapse into one. The ability of two atoms to stay at a certain distance, or two electrons to stay at a certain distance, that understanding, that knowledge itself is consciousness, which is keeping them at the right places. Otherwise we will all collapse. We are just space. We are nothing but space. If you have one, in science, chemistry, they'll tell you, if your nucleus is like here, like a football over here, the first electron, if nucleus is the size of a football, the first electron you will find is 15 kilometers away. If I have to just extrapolate it and help you understand. If the atomic nucleus is just the size of a football, the first electron will be 15 kilometers away. That is the amount of space that we are having. But we don't feel that space. We feel solid, hard. That is because the atoms and the forces together do not allow them to collapse into each other. This supreme intelligence, this idea itself is so mesmerizing. Of course, the science is mesmerized, saying it is science and nature. But rishis are mesmerized, they're saying science and nature cannot be this, because science and nature is, so to say, unconscious forces. But this is a conscious force, this is aware, this is intelligent. And how can something come out of nothing? Intelligence has to come out of something which is intelligent. How can intelligence come out of something which is not intelligent? Not possible. So if all the intelligence that you see in the universe has to come out from the source which is also intelligent, all that conscious, which is conscious in the world, should also come out of something which has been conscious. So that is simple logic, why we should believe that the source of everything is consciousness, because without that we cannot experience any of these things. So this Kshetra is a heavy Advaita. Bhagavad Gita is also called Advaitamrita Varshini. This is the shower of Advaita, nectar of Advaita. Bhagavad Gita carries within itself the nectar of Advaita and comes like a downpour, Varshini. So this is downpour of Advaita starting from this chapter. And a lot of concepts will come, but this suffices for today to know that I am not the body, the I in me is not the body, the I in me is not the mind or the buddhi or whatever mind's parts are. I in me is that very consciousness which helps me understand this is my mind, which helps me understand this is my body. And that I is equal in all. Even a girl gets up from a primary school, she'll start her sentence with, I am so and so. A boy gets up, he'll say, I am so and so. That feeling that I am is consciousness, that is Brahman, that is Kshetrajna, that is Purusha, that is Geyam. This is the story of this whole chapter. As we proceed, you will understand. But this is something that needs a lot of contemplation. You can't just hear it and say, I got it. You didn't get it. Go back and try. Do you really feel the difference between you and your mind, between you and your body? And then you can really feel this you in you, what you're feeling as you, is not the body and the mind. That's why somebody asked, I want to do meditation on this Advaita. I said, very difficult. Because what the meditation, Aham Brahma, Sarvam Brahma. Now what it looks like, when you meditate Aham Brahma, okay, you feel I with this body, wearing these clothes, sitting on this chair is Brahman. That's how it will think. And then you say Sarvam Brahma, I'll think I'm only sitting in the next chair also. But Narasimhamurti is sitting next chair. Then I will superimpose myself on Narasimhamurti and say, this is how I am sitting in the next chair. Ultimately, the same form and name we try to superimpose on everything and feel we are the Brahman of this world. It doesn't work. This is a subtle, it says somewhere down the line in some shloka, Antarchakshu or something like that. With the divine eyes, the Divya Chakshu or the inner eye, you can know this difference. Physical eye, physical mind, or whatever mind, you cannot know this difference. It needs a little bit of contemplation. So next time you are very emotional, very angry, very perturbed, very disturbed, very happy, very excited, very bored, very lazy, whatever you, just sit down for a moment and do this Drigadrishya Viveka. Okay, right now my body is feeling lazy. Who in the body is feeling lazy? My mind is feeling actually lazy, it is sleepy. But who knows that the mind is feeling sleepy or lazy? Something in me knows that. That in me is God. That in me is Brahman. This is the idea of Sanatana Dharma. Our Sanatana Dharma God is not somebody, one particular entity, a bearded man in a gown sitting up in the clouds. It is not our idea of Sanatana Dharma. Even Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Devi, Durga, Ganesha, they are also not the supreme divinity. They are also manifestations. They also are Kshetra, because they are manifest. This unmanifest consciousness alone is Kshetrajna. Anything that manifests is Kshetra only. So if you worship any form and name, it is Kshetra only. So Sri Krishna Paramatma is giving this discourse. Is he right now Kshetra or Kshetrajna? Kshetra only. But he is aware of that Kshetrajna in him, which knows all this wisdom. So physically, any manifestation is Kshetra only, not Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is the unmanifest consciousness which doesn't have a shape, size, name, form, age, attributes, nothing it has. It is just the ability in us, that awareness in us which is neutral and same in all. So try to grasp this and grasp this thoroughly. Only then we should go to the next level of how to experience. The next question you have to ask, how to experience. Of course, Drigadrishya you can do. But is it so easy to do? There is some preparation. Then Sri Krishna goes back, go back to my 20 qualities. Bhagavad Gita had 40, Bhakti Yoga had 40. Now he is going to tell us 20 qualities you should practice. In that, you will slowly develop this ability to differentiate and discriminate. And thus Viveka will come to you to know you are different from your body and mind. You are the consciousness. This will slowly come to you. And then you will start developing respect for everything and everyone. Because externally we may be different as Kshetras, but Kshetrajna in us is one and the same. And therefore I cannot hurt, harm, be disrespectful, be rude, be unfair to anybody. Why? Because within them the same, whoever is, suppose I am rude to that lady, who is experiencing that rudeness of mine as a hurt in her? The same Kshetrajna is experiencing. Suppose I make somebody happy by saying good things. Who in that person is experiencing that happiness which came out of my speaking good things? The same Kshetrajna. Who is in me, in her. With that feeling, you will not be harmful to anybody. You will become respectful. Even animals, birds, trees, everything you should see with respect. All climate change issues will be solved. All environmental problems will be solved. Social conflicts will be solved. Wars and all kinds of unrest will be solved. Even personal problems, mental issues, psychological problems, everything will be solved in this one idea that there is only one Kshetrajna and all the Kshetras. This is the power of Sanatana Dharma. This is the power of Advaita, which no other philosophy can carry. Advaita says it loud and clear. As they say, we have to also be as confident as this philosophy. But we can't be confident unless we have experienced it. You cannot talk, you cannot carry that authority in your speak about Advaita if you are not the one who has experienced it. Even once you've experienced, you'll get that confidence and authority. Otherwise, you will simply be like parroting whatever is written in the scriptures. You can give a very good exposition, but audience can easily, they'll do the Nirashira Viveka. This fellow only knows theory, doesn't know anything practical. But the one who's experienced practical will, with great authority can speak on this subject and can really pass on that inspiration to others also. I must also experience. What will I get out of it? I will get over all these daily vicissitudes of emotions and, vagaries of mind and depressions and excitements, and I will develop some peace. Plus, I will develop respect and love for everybody. In that respect and love, I will find my happiness and joy. So it is the most practical philosophy. Please contemplate on it. We have a quiz program now coming up with the children, and let's enjoy that quiz. Let us know how much of this Advaita has gone into ours. And also, it's a good standard for us to check as audience. When the questions are asked, please answer it within yourself. You don't have to shout it out loud. Last time everybody is shouting, they know the answer. Just tell yourself, oh, then you can do some self-checks. I know it or I don't know it, like that, right? If you don't remember, you don't know those concepts, go back and revise. Okay.